Welcome into WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. Coming up, the West Coast Conference is still home to the number one team in the country. We break down the Zags with some of the top national experts. Plus, they went from teammates in high school to rivals in college. See how the dynamic between LMU's Eli Scott and Pepperdine's Andre Ball has changed. And 4 WCC soccer players will take their games to the next level. We catch up with 2 of them from Santa Clara. But first, we're running out of superlatives to talk about Gonzaga basketball. As of this taping, the men haven't lost a game since last February and have been ranked number 1 in the country for the entire season. We want to put this historic season in perspective, so we talked with some of the most respected college basketball analysts out there. ESPN's Jay Bilas, CBS Sports' John Rothstein and Clark Kellogg, and the legendary Dickie V.
Way downtown, feeling it!
Behind the back.
No way!
Earlier this month, you tweeted, "This is Mark Few's best team ever at Gonzaga. What makes this team so special?"
Well, they're just so good in the backcourt. I mean, Suggs brings another dimension. They really buy into Mark Few's philosophy. They play as a team concept. They're so efficient offensively. They're the most explosive team in college basketball on the offensive end.
I think they're one of the more special teams we've had in college basketball in the last decade or so. And they've had some phenomenal teams at Gonzaga. I mean, you think the last 5 years, this program has won 30-plus games the last 4 seasons.
Well, it's one of Mark Few's best teams, I think. It's offensively just a beautiful team to watch. They move the ball. They're very good cutters. There doesn't seem to be any degree of selfishness with the team. I don't think anybody really seems to care whether they're the leading scorer, but they certainly have load carriers that are very consistent. And I think their mix of responsibilities is really good. So they've got Player of the Year candidates. They've got a top 5, in my judgment, draft pick in Jalen Suggs as a freshman. And yet there doesn't seem to be any, this is mine or that's yours or things like that. It's a very, it seems like a group of really, really good teammates that really enjoy playing together.
The way they share the ball offensively, and a couple weeks ago, I talked to Corey Kispert, and that was the biggest thing that he pointed out. It's truly amazing how seamless and connected this team is on offense, and obviously a big reason for that is the point guard they have, Jalen Suggs.
The best part about them, they play for the name on the front of the jersey. They really do. They play with a sense of pride and passion that Mark's brought to that program. That program is more than any individual player. And I think that's what impresses me.
And there it is, IIE with the assist, and he is the first Gonzaga Bulldog in school history with the triple-double.
There's this narrative that Gonzaga's had so much success overall, not just this year, but the last decade or two, because they don't play in a Power 5 conference. But if you look at the net rankings and whatever kind of metric you want to use, it seems like the WCC is actually pretty strong and getting better, and it's just that Gonzaga's that much better than the other teams. How do you see that?
Yeah, that noise is what I would call hubris. That's just hubris. If they were in the Big Ten, it doesn't make any difference. They'd be at the top of that league. I don't have any doubt. They'd be in a position to win championships in any league in the country. This is an elite basketball program.
I just think that's really nonsense, because the bottom line is they play against preseason. They play anybody, anytime, anywhere, and they prove they can play with anyone. I don't think they have to make an excuse for anyone.
Last year, the WCC took a major step in terms of gaining more national relevancy, because if we had an NCAA tournament, the WCC wouldn't have just had 3 teams in the field. They would have had 3 single-digit seeds in Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and BYU. You look, obviously, at the landscape of this conference. San Francisco has beaten a team like Virginia. We've also seen Pepperdine push UCLA into multiple overtimes. UCLA right now in contention for a Pac-12 regular season title. And out of the Mountain West, we are seeing a little bit of a resurgence at Colorado State. St. Mary's has beaten Colorado State. So I believe last year, 5 teams from the WCC were in the top 110 of the net. And it's established itself as a multi-bid league. And on a good year like last year, a league that could generate 3 NCAA tournament teams.
I think Gonzaga is one of the truly great success stories in American sports history, not just college basketball and not just basketball. I think if you looked at where the program started, back in the late 90s, where the university was at the time, and then where they are now. You can't find other programs that have done that in any sport. It's absurd, really, the success they've had. They believe in each other, and then they believe in what they can accomplish. In the past, people would say, well, it's just not possible there. They've proven otherwise, that it is possible, and they've done it because of their belief set and their values that they've stuck to. And it's really an amazing American success story, I think.
Time to take a break. When we come back, we go down the coast to see what's making headlines around the conference. And 24 miles of the Pacific Coast Highway separate them, but the bond between Pepperdine's Andre Ball and LMU's Eli Scott goes way back. More on them up next. This episode of WCC All-Access is brought to you in part by Nike, Just Do It, and University Credit Union, who invites WCC alumni and fans to bank with their brain and open an account today. Welcome back to WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. It's time to go down the coast and see what's making headlines around the conference. We start in Portland, where one of the all-time great pilots is hanging up his cleats. Luis Robles announced his retirement from professional soccer. The former Portland pilot played 9 seasons in the MLS, mostly with the New York Red Bulls. He was named MLS Goalkeeper of the Year in 2015 and set a league record with 183 straight games played. Congrats on a great career. On the pitch, plenty of preseason honors for WCC soccer players. 4 women's student athletes are on the Mac Herman Trophy watch list, given to the best player in the country. Pepperdine's Joelle Anderson, BYU's Michaela Coulihan, and Kelsey Turnbow and Alex Loera from Santa Clara are on the list. On the men's side, Sebastian Schacht of St. Mary's and Gerardo Lopez of LMU were named to the prestigious list. New season, same ranking in Malibu. The Pepperdine men's golf team opens the 2021 season the same way it ended last year, as the top-ranked team in the country. The Waves come in ranked number 1 in the Bushnell Golf Week poll to start the season. Last year's number 1 ranking was the first time in program history Pepperdine ascended to the top spot. There's new leadership in Moraga. St. Mary's announced Richard Plum as its new president. Most recently, he was the executive vice president and provost at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. Plum previously worked at LMU and has graduate degrees from Syracuse University. He takes over for James Donahue, who is retiring after almost 8 years at the helm. A milestone on the court for Moraga's longtime basketball coach. Randy Bennett notched his 450th career win. He's just the second head coach in WCC history to reach that mark, behind Gonzaga's Mark Few. In his 20 seasons with the Gales, Bennett has won 3 league titles, 3 WCC tournament titles, and made 7 NCAA tournaments. In 2016, Eli Scott and Andre Ball won a national title at Chino Hills High School. By the way, that squad has 3 guys currently playing in the NBA, including Andre's cousins, Lonzo and LaMelo Ball. But after high school, Scott and Ball became rivals, choosing to suit up for LMU and Pepperdine respectively. Their uniforms may have changed, but their bond is as strong as ever. How long have you guys actually known each other for?
Wow. At least like 2012, 2013. Yeah. Far before high school. Far.
So obviously the 2015-16 year is kind of when everything gelled for that squad. You guys didn't lose a game all year. You went 35-0, won a title. What would you say was kind of the most special part of that season for you?
I think just being able to do it together as a family. Guys that we've all known each other for years. And just doing it together as a family and building that relationship on and off the court. When I think back to that year, I don't really remember any of the games, but I do remember the special moments we had, like joking after a game, going to eat dinner after the game, just things of that nature. After the state championship, I remember we took a picture every year. We post on each other's birthdays, like the one picture we have together. So I think that's probably the memory that sticks out the most. It's just the genuine feeling of winning and sharing that moment with Dre.
Wow. Nice play by Andre Ball.
Dre, once you knew that you'd be going to Pepperdine and you'd be playing against Eli, in college instead of on the same team. How did that go down? Was there any smack talk at all? Were you guys happy for each other?
For sure, some smack talk. Especially with Eli, that's a given.
Yeah, definitely some smack talk. I was just happy for Dre, especially seeing the man he became after I left. The following year, he was arguably one of the best players on Chino Hills, and they won a state championship. And just seeing him grow from Andre the dunker to Andre the full package was just amazing to see.
Keep an eye on that Andre ball. He easily probably could have took that thing through the legs. That kid is a big-time athlete.
January 3rd, 2019, LMU at Pepperdine. That was the first time you guys played against each other in college. Just tell me what that experience was like.
It was pretty surreal, honestly. Seeing Dre in another uniform was different, you know. Trying to keep a straight face was probably the hardest part. Every time we see each other, we always reminisce on old jokes we used to crack. And just honestly trying to keep a straight face was probably the hardest part and stay locked into the game.
Every time we see each other, it's always those little inside jokes that only me and him know. Come out when we warming up and stuff. It's just always funny. But then, like he said, I was just trying to keep a straight face. But like back to that game, like specifically, I don't really remember too much of it. I just remember I just wasn't trying to mess up.
At the end of the day, it's still a basketball game, and Dre's still somebody I call my brother. So, like, win, lose, or draw, we're going to crack those same jokes we see each other the next time. Like, we're going to see each other some other time off the court because we have the same mutual friends and family. So, I think no matter how close the rivalry was, I still think it would be exactly the same.
When we come back, what's trending on social media? We take a look at the best tweets and posts. And a historic night for WCC women's soccer as 4 players are drafted into the NWSL. We talk with a pair of Santa Clara stars who will make the next step in their careers up next. This episode comes to you courtesy of Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. And Shamrock Office Solutions, delivering Rico digital copier and IT solutions to the Bay Area for over 19 years. Here are some of the best moments on social media. Just when you think the Zags can't make any more history this season, there's this. Junior guard Joel Ayayi recorded the first triple-double in program history. He had 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 14 assists in Gonzaga's win over Portland in January. Congrats! Another WCC Hoops milestone, this one in the Bay Area. San Francisco head coach Molly Goodenbauer recorded her 300th career win. The Dons' 5th-year head coach has 231 wins and counting at the Division I and II levels and 69 dubs at the junior college level. And it's time for a Megan Rapinoe appreciation post. The former Portland Pilot returned to the U.S. women's national team after a little break and showed everyone why she's the best player in the world, notching a first-half brace. Welcome back to WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. At least one WCC women's soccer player has been picked in the NWSL draft in each of the last 9 years. This season, 4 heard their names called, tying a conference record. Michaela Colohan of BYU was the first WCC star to be picked. Last season's Conference Player of the Year was the 14th overall pick by the Orlando Pride. 4 spots later, Kelsey Turnbow of Santa Clara was taken by the Chicago Red Stars. Pepperdine's Joelle Anderson heard her name called in the 3rd round by the Houston Dash. And last season's WCC Defensive Player of the Year, Santa Clara's Alex Loera, was a 4th round pick of Kansas City. And joining us now are 2 of those 4 who were drafted, Kelsey Turnbow and Alex Loera from Santa Clara. Thank you both for joining us and congratulations.
Thank you so much for having us.
So I think the question that everyone kind of wants to know is, what did that moment feel like when you heard your name called in the draft?
I was overwhelmed with so much emotion. It was exciting. I felt so blessed and humbled to be chosen. And it's a lifelong dream that has finally, I guess, been reached. To think that all the sacrifice and hard work paid off was just very rewarding in that moment, and to spend that moment with my family was even more special. I know the draft was virtual, but there were a lot of blessings that went along with that.
Everything that we've put in since we were 3 or 4, and our parents have put in, and our teammates have helped us, and our coaches, and just everyone that's made this possible, just in literally one sentence. They are now drafting so-and-so. It came true. And so it was, like Kel said, just very blessed and humbled and grateful and overwhelmed with emotion at how excited we are.
You both still have a year of eligibility left at Santa Clara, but you do have the option to go directly to the NWSL, but you're both planning on playing this season for the Broncos. Was there any thought given to going straight to the pros, or were you kind of dead set on seeing out your last year at Santa Clara?
It's always been my plan to finish out my time at Santa Clara. I would choose to represent Santa Clara and fight for a championship and compete with my team in this program time in and time out. So that was never a question, but I am very excited to play these upcoming 2 seasons and then get to Chicago.
Yeah, it is super tempting for me to want to go, obviously, but I'll be playing pro soccer for however long I can. So I'm going to take advantage of the NCAA allowing us this extra year and get my master's. So that's going to be super fun. And then definitely ready to go win a championship here and then go and win at Kansas City.
In addition to both of you, Michaela Coulihan of BYU and Joelle Anderson of Pepperdine also were taken in the draft. The 4 total draft picks from the WCC ties a conference record. What do you think that says about the strength of this conference?
Our conference is extremely talented, and although we're not one of the big 5 conferences, there's a lot of talent. Our games are dog-eat-dog every game, and so to have 4 players represent the West Coast Conference in that draft is absolutely amazing, and I'm proud of every single one of us.
We are one of the best conferences, and I can in full confidence say that with the WCC.
Kelsey, when you go to Chicago, you're going to be playing with one of your fellow alums, Julie Ertz. What do you think it'll be like to suit up alongside her?
She's been someone that myself and I guess the whole program has looked up to. She's definitely an icon around here at Santa Clara University, and so when I get to lace up my cleats and play alongside her is going to be the biggest privilege.
So Alex, in 2016, you were on a reality show on Nickelodeon called Soccer Superstars, and that kind of gave you a chance to meet and train with an NWSL team.
Yes.
Now you're going to be on an NWSL team. How did that experience kind of help guide your career?
That experience was crazy. It just really solidified in my mind that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be in this position. And being able to train with them, it's like a kid in a candy shop. And it really helped ignite the drive. It just really was surreal. And the fact that now, like, I'm going to be at that level is just mind-blowing to me.
Coming up, February is Black History Month. We honor and remember the accomplishments of some of the WCC's all-time greats when we return. You're watching this episode thanks to our sponsors, Heffernan Insurance, because you're different, and Don Francisco's Coffee, premium quality, great tasting, family crafted coffee since 1870, backed by 150 years of coffee roasting expertise for a perfect cup every time. Welcome back to WCC All-Access. I'm Ezra Broder. February is Black History Month, a time when we educate ourselves on the great achievements of African Americans. Today, we remember some of the Black pioneers in WCC sports history, both past and present. The greatest champion in sports history, Bill Russell won 2 NCAA championships playing in the WCC, an Olympic gold medal, and 11 NBA championships in 13 years. He became the first Black head coach in major American sports history and was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his work in the Civil Rights Movement. His name is on the NBA Finals MVP award, and the WCC named its conference-wide diversity hiring commitment, the Russell Rule, after him. Pepperdine alum Lynn Williams is one of the most accomplished soccer players in conference history. A first-team All-American and finalist for the Mac Hermann Trophy Award, Williams has won an NWSL MVP award and 3 league championships. She's also a member of the U.S. Women's National Team. And most importantly, Williams has been a vocal supporter of Black rights, helping to form the Black Women's Player Collective, helping Black girls have access to playing sports. Former Gale Patty Mills is an Olympian and NBA champion, but his work off the court is what differentiates him. Mills is considered a leader of the racial and social justice movements among NBA players. He donated $1 million of his salary this past season to support Black athletes in his native Australia. And MJ Knighton is a trailblazer at San Diego. She's the youngest active head coach in Division I softball at 25 years old. She's the only Black female head coach in the WCC in any sport, and the first Black female head coach in USD history.
That'll do it. Thank you for watching WCC All-Access. We leave you now with some of the best plays from the last few weeks of action. See you next time.
2,000 points for his career. This could be it, and it is. 2,000 in the great career of Colby Ross. There have not been many in the history of college hoops who've reached that milestone.
Inside, Andrews gets it to go. She'll head to the line. Kuzi stops. Kuzi starts. Off-balance shot is blocked, and a foul with 0.3 seconds left.
And there's another one of those affected shots. Harding, great pass looking down the floor.
Third turnover for the Zags in these first few minutes, and there's Suggs. Steals one away. Jalen Suggs, that's the defense that you highlighted right at the top.
Markson runs back, chases it down. Jenkins picks it clean. Tigers lead.
You know, I've known Coach Soul for a long time.
Josh Parrish. Check this out, Jen. We thought Ali was clear to the cup.
This episode was brought to you in part by Reveal Suits, the official business apparel partner of the West Coast Conference. It's what's inside. Visit revealsuits.com. And Signature Championship Rings. Your success set in stone.